Archangel Michael says, you were supposed to be rich until one signature erased your name. You were marked. Not by mistake. Not by accident. Marked in spirit. Marked in covenant. Marked in purpose. You were destined to rise, to prosper, to overflow with the abundance of heaven's favor. From the moment your breath entered this realm, a scroll in the divine archives was opened. On it was your name, etched not in ink but in celestial light. That name held promise. That name held power. That name held provision. You were chosen to walk in wealth, not merely material, but wealth of wisdom, wealth of authority, wealth of divine alignment. But something happened. A decision was made in the dark. A hand you once trusted, or perhaps a force unknown, made a mark, a single signature, that redirected what was meant to be yours. They didn't ask your permission. They didn't need your presence. They only needed access to one gate. And when they gained it, they signed what should have never been signed. That signature was more than ink on paper. It was agreement. Agreement with lack. Agreement with limitation. Agreement with delay. And while your spirit kept pushing forward, kept trying to reach for more, something kept pulling you back. Something unseen. Something signed in secrecy. And now, the heavens are opening that hidden file. Now, the scroll is being unsealed. Archangel Michael has descended not just with a warning, but with a revelation. The prosperity that you felt was close but never reached. The open doors that you've seen in dreams but never walked through. The sudden losses, the strainy delays, the allus that turned to nothings. They are not coincidences. They are spiritual residues of that broken agreement, that wrong alignment, that cursed signature. But hear this clearly, heaven has issued a divine override. What was written without your consent is now under divine correction. What was blocked by one false stroke of a pen will be reversed by the stroke of a sword. Michael's sword. A sword of truth. A sword of justice. And with that sword comes a warning. You have 24 hours to align yourself back into divine authority. You have 24 hours to break soul ties, sever toxic agreements, and stand in the fullness of who you are. You were supposed to be rich, not just in gold, but in grace. Not just in finances, but in favor. Not just in influence, but in impact. And that season is still calling you. The destiny is still waiting for your yes. There is a shift happening now. Not next week. Not someday. Now, the moment you hear these words, something in your spirit will stir, because it already knows this truth. Archangel Michael, the guardian of divine justice and protector of covenant promises, has sounded the alarm. This is not a casual message. This is not a motivational speech. This is a spiritual transmission meant to shake what was settled, to break what was bound, and to reveal what was removed. You were supposed to be rich, not as the world defines it, but as heaven destined it. Rich in purpose, rich in progression, rich in provision. But somewhere, somehow, there was interference. Interference masked as paperwork. Interference wrapped in legality. Interference covered by a name that was not your own. Someone wrote you out of your blessing, and they thought heaven wouldn't notice. But heaven did notice. And heaven has dispatched Michael to stand before you, sword drawn, declaring, enough. No more delay. No more redirection. No more manipulation. Your name must be re-entered. Your name must be reinstated. Your covenant must be reactivated. This is not just about money. This is about inheritance. This is about bloodlines. This is about ancient assignments tied to your DNA. For too long, you've questioned why doors wouldn't open, why certain cycles repeated, why your work bore no fruit. It's because someone intercepted the divine flow through a false agreement. Whether spiritual or physical, intentional or accidental, it created a blockage that altered the route of your blessings. But Archangel Michael is here now, not just to expose it, but to destroy it. And now, you have a choice. You can pretend this is another message, another video, another voice, or you can recognize that this is a moment, a divine pause in time, a summons. You are being pulled into alignment with your original design. Your name is being recalled in the courts of heaven. But for the manifestation to be released, you must declare war on passivity. You must speak back into the silence. You must cancel what was signed without your spirit's consent. Because if you stay quiet now, the delay will stretch. But if you respond in faith, if you declare your return, the heavens will move instantly. Michael does not arrive empty-handed. He carries a scroll, a sword, and a seal. The scroll has your name. The sword brings justice. And the seal, the seal, carries a stamp that no earthly signature can override. Type "I am returning to my inheritance" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is now in motion. They never thought you'd find out. They never expected the light to shine on what was done in the dark. A name was whispered. A decision was made. A conversation happened when you were not in the room. A moment passed where someone sat across a table, looked at an opportunity, and instead of forwarding it to you, they forwarded it to themselves or someone else, someone less deserving, someone with louder lies and quieter guilt. And in that moment, a single stroke of ink redirected a wealth of destiny. A signature. That's all it took. A signature by someone who either knew what they were doing, or worse, didn't care. A move masked in legality but steeped in betrayal. Archangel Michael reveals now, the person who once smiled with you, celebrated you, pretended to believe in you as the one whose hands moved first. Your silence was misunderstood. They thought you were unaware. They thought your humility was weakness. They mistook your spirit-led discernment for naivety. But heaven has been watching. Heaven hath been collecting evidence. And Michael is now presenting it before the realm of revelation. Someone thought they knew you. Thought they understood your limits. Thought your lack of reaction meant lack of awareness. But what they didn't realize is this. You were never fighting for crumbs. You were waiting for confirmation. And now that confirmation is here, something sacred was misfelled. Someone's greed rode your portion. And as you struggled to understand why the promises felt delayed, they felt triumphant, momentarily. They rejoiced prematurely, not knowing that divine justice operates on eternal clocks, not earthly calendars. Let this be clear. A conversation is still happening behind your back. Even now, someone's voice is whispering about you, not with concern, but with fear. Fear that you'll discover what they did. Fear that the truth is catching up to them. Fear that the very thing they thought they buried is rising through the soil. And they're right to be afraid. Because you're no longer silent. You're no longer confused. You're no longer stuck in wondering. Your spirit is waking up. Your discernment is sharpening. Your fire is reigniting. And Michael is standing beside you, whispering truth into your soul. It wasn't your failure. It was their fear. It wasn't your absence. It was their arrogance. They've uncovered something, but only a fragment. They saw a glimpse of your future and panicked. They touched your promise and trembled. They tried to erase you not because you were weak, but because you were too powerful. And the saddest part, they believed that with one decision, one forged line, one greedy moment, they could close heaven's book on your name. But they underestimated the power of spiritual contracts. They underestimated the covenant you carry. And most of all, they underestimated your comeback. You were born for resurrection. You were destined to bounce back. And while they counted you out, the heavens counted you in. You are the misread prophecy, the quiet storm, the silent thunder that now approaches with clarity. Now, you feel it in your bones. Something is shifting in your atmosphere. You may not have the paperwork in hand. You may not know the full details. But your spirit knows something unjust has been done. You feel the tug of truth beneath the surface. You feel the call to reclaim. You feel the ache of what was stolen, and the roar of what is being returned. They erased your name, but they didn't remove your essence. They tried to write you out, but heaven kept the original copy. And now that original is being summoned forward. The pain you've felt, the isolation, the betrayal, the confusion, it was all the echo of what was done without your knowledge. But now the veil is lifting, and what once was mystery is now becoming clarity. Michael is speaking directly into the void they left behind and declaring, your name is rising. Your name is clearing the fog. Your name is igniting storms of retribution. Your name still holds weight in the throne room. Let them whisper. Let them fear. Let them wonder how you found out. The truth is, you always knew. And now that knowing becomes action. Now that revelation becomes reversal. And what was signed to block you will now serve as evidence for your divine compensation. Type I receive full restoration in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 1212 is unfolding around you right now. This is not personal. This is spiritual. What happened to you was never just about wealth or recognition. It was a battle over your birthright. You see, there are realms beyond this one. Realms where contracts are formed and destinies are whispered before a soul even enters the womb. In one of those realms, your name was called. Your purpose was announced. Your mission was ordained. Heaven didn't merely assign you to this lifetime for survival. It assigned you to shift atmospheres, to interrupt curses, to build legacies that would ripple across generations. That's why the attack came. That's why your name was tampered with. That's why one signature, one forged agreement, one false move tried to reroute your inheritance. Because this is not a human misunderstanding. It is a targeted spiritual interference against divine instruction. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this. What seemed like betrayal was actually a confrontation between realms. What appeared to be someone's poor decision was, in fact, a breach in the spirit. It wasn't just a signature. It was an unauthorized access point. A spiritual gate was opened by the wrong hands, and what flowed through it was confusion, blockage, and misalignment. But that gate is now under divine lockdown. Michael has been stationed at the threshold. No further entry is permitted. No more tampering. No more redirection. The spiritual interference has been detected. The breach is being sealed. The contract is being re-examined in the highest court, not of men, but of heaven. You are not just an individual. You are a vessel. You are a carrier of kingdom currency. When you speak, the atmosphere shifts. When you rise, territories respond. You are not average. You are anointed. And the enemy knows this. That is why you've been targeted. That is why delays became common. That is why confusion became familiar. The enemy never cared about your comfort. It cared about your calling. And now that calling is being recalibrated, you were not erased. You were refined. You were not destroyed. You were hidden until the appointed time. And that time, beloved, is now. Let them call it coincidence. Let them label it misfortune. But in the spirit, the truth is ringing out. This was spiritual warfare. Every setback was strategic. Every denial was deceptive. And every closed door was orchestrated to provoke you into doubt. But doubt never defined you. You may have cried, but you didn't quit. You may have paused, but you never forfeited. And heaven has kept record of every tear, every question, every why you whispered in secret. You were never abandoned. You were protected by delay, hidden beneath the wings of divine timing. And Michael stood at your side the entire time, shielding, guiding, waiting for the moment when your spirit would awaken and reclaim the throne they thought was vacant. This is your awakening. This is your fire returning. This is the moment when the fog lifts and you realize the war wasn't against your wallet, it was against your worship. Because when you walk in prosperity, you fund vision. When you walk in wealth, you create movement. When you walk in divine overflow, you don't just feed your table, you multiply it. You bless others. You build it. You break chains and bloodlines. And that, above all, is what the shadows fear. They do not fear your possessions. They fear your power. Your spiritual capacity to birth the unthinkable, to establish kingdom legacy, to speak and shift entire atmospheres. So rise now, not in bitterness but in boldness. Rise now, not in fear, but in fire. This isn't vengeance. This is vindication. The spiritual realm is roaring with activity around your name. Heaven is issuing corrections. The angels are aligning documents. What was misplaced is being relocated. What was stolen is being restored, sevenfold. And the presence of Michael is not just proof of protection, it is the announcement of promotion. Your name is returning to its rightful place. Your story is being rewritten with glory. And your inheritance, yes, your divine inheritance, is knocking again. But this time, it won't be stolen. This time, it will be sealed. Type "I am anointed for restoration" in the comments if you receive this truth. Blessing code 888 is covering you in this hour. Heed this now, for Archangel Michael does not speak without cause. A confrontation is stirring. A disruption is approaching. The very people who once erased your name are now feeling the tremors of exposure. They sense the shift. They hear the rustling in the spirit. They feel the heat of divine correction approaching, and they are panicking. They will reach out. They will pretend it's coincidence. They will call it concern. But behind the surface of their words is fear. Behind their sudden outreach is dread. Because the one they once manipulated is rising in power. The one they thought would stay silent is surrounded by angels. The one they assumed was erased is about to make heaven back noise. They are not coming to apologize. They are coming to measure your discernment. They are coming to test the waters. Will you remember? Will you confront? Will you question? Their hearts are restless because justice is knocking. Their minds are clouded with confusion because heaven has issued a reversal. And yet they are still operating in deception. A message may arrive. A call may be made. An invitation may be sent. But Archangel Michael says, do not answer in emotion. Respond only in revelation. Because the words they craft are layered with subtle poison. The gesture will look friendly, but the motive is wrapped in panic. They do not seek reconciliation. They seek delay. They hope your kindness will once again buy them time. But you must remember who you are now. You are not the same. You are awakened. You are armed. You are under divine protection. You have crossed the threshold of ignorance into the territory of insight. And insight cannot be undone. This moment is sacred. What you say, what you decide, what you allow matters greatly in this window, because the next 3 hours will determine how quickly heaven releases your compensation. The enemy knows time is short. That's why they move now. But you are not to engage them in fear. You are to stand in wisdom. You are not to respond in haste. You are to move in authority. This is your proving ground. The spiritual court is watching. Archangel Michael says, "Hold your peace, but keep your sword drawn." You do not need to explain. You do not need to validate your anger. You only need to trust the signs. Watch their eyes. Watch their words. Discern the patterns. They will speak in circles. They will try to confuse. They will feign innocence. But you are not called to confusion. You are a child of clarity. You are a vessel of truth. And the truth is slicing through the fabric of their schemes like Michael's flaming sword. What was once hidden is now being unveiled. Their manipulation is coming into full view. And they are hoping you don't see it. But you see it now. You feel it now. Your spirit knows when danger cloaks itself in kindness. You know when false light tries to pose as guidance. You know when a trap is dressed up as opportunity. And now that you know, you are required to move differently. You are required to guide the gates. You are required to speak only what heaven releases. Because one wrong conversation can trigger another detour. One misplaced reaction can echo in the spirit. And Michael is here to warn you. The enemy is not given up, but they are desperate. And desperate enemies are dangerous enemies. They are sloppy. They are frantic. They are predictable. Use this to your advantage. This is not the time to explain your silence. This is the time to embody your stillness. This is not the time to fight with words. This is the time to war in the spirit. Your posture will speak louder than any reply. Your refusal to be pulled back will echo louder than any confrontation. You are standing in a moment that must be guarded with fire. Heaven is testing your readiness. Will you protect the promise or pacify the problem? Will you rise in discernment or fall into distraction? The sword is in your hand. The scroll is being rewritten. And the next move is yours. Let your silence thunder. Let your discernment burn. Let your alignment speak louder than your anger. And above all, remember this. What was signed to stop you is now about to be used to elevate you. But only if you move with reverence. Only if you guard your gates. Only if you let heaven lead your next word. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments if you are standing in divine strength. Blessing code 999 surrounds your decisions in this hour. Archangel Michael now draws near with a command cloaked not in fire, but in peace. A divine stillness surrounds you, and within that stillness is your strategy. The greatest battles are not always won by those who shout the loudest, but by those who learn the sacred art of silence. The enemy expects a reaction. They expect you to fight fire with fire, to fall into the trap of justification, to spill your oil in places that cannot honor it. But you, beloved, are not expected to perform. You are called to preserve. Preserve your focus. Preserve your authority. Preserve your peace. You do not owe anyone an explanation for what heaven has already validated. This is a divine moment, one of rare clarity. Do not waste it on noise. Michael urges you, stay grounded. You are no longer in the realm of confusion. You are in the atmosphere of consecration. The Spirit is doing something behind the veil, moving pieces, uprooting dissection, redirecting wealth, and undoing what was wrongfully signed. Your power right now is in your posture. You don't need to retaliate. You need to recenter. Anchor yourself. Fasten your gaze upon the purpose. Refuse to be pulled into cycles that heaven is trying to close. The signature may have erased your name from a contract, but it did not remove your calling from God's design. Let your silence be your strength, not because you are afraid to speak, but because you now understand the weight your voice carries. When you speak now, it must be intentional. It must be prophetic. It must echo the throne. This is a time to be measured, not muted. There is a difference. You are not being asked to disappear. You are being instructed to discern, to move with precision, to align with holy timing. Michael is circling you with warrior angels, not so you can prove anything, but so you can rest in the knowledge that you are protected. Heaven fights for you while you remain hidden in wisdom. This is not weakness. This is weaponry. Stillness is your weapon now. And from this stillness, heaven will begin to whisper new instructions. Doors you are to walk through, connections you are to establish, ideas you are to resurrect. But those whispers can only be heard when the noise is silenced. Guard your atmosphere. Do not allow gossip to enter your gates. Do not allow bitterness to fester in your soul. The person who signed your name away does not deserve your energy. They deserve your absence. And in that absence, they will feel the cold void of divine separation. What they once accessed, they will no longer reach. What they once stole, they will be forced to return, not by your hands, but by heaven's decree. Let heaven fight for you. Let the sword of Michael strike what you cannot see. You do not need to investigate. You do not need to chase proof. What you need to do is believe. Believe that your stillness is a signal to the heavens that you trust divine justice. Believe that silence is not surrender. It is sacred warfare. You are not powerless. You are being protected from sabotage, from misalignment, from being drawn back into a version of yourself that no longer fits. You are not who you were when the signature was signed. You have evolved. You have awakened. You have stepped into a new level of spiritual awareness. And now, you must protect that elevation with reverence. Let this be your decree. I do not chase what God is removing. I do not explain what heaven has already revealed. I do not plead for what was stolen. I wait for divine restoration. Because when heaven gives it back, it will come without manipulation, without compromise, without confusion. It will come in full. It will come wrapped in peace. It will come because you allowed the battle to be fought above you rather than around you. So stay still. Stand tall. Be quiet in the natural, but loud in the spirit. Let your prayers roar. Let your agreement echo. Let your peace speak on your behalf. This season does not require your noise. It requires your knowing. The knowing that God saw it, Michael witnessed it, and heaven is now moving to reverse it. Type "I choose stillness over struggle" in the comments if you are resting in divine protection. Lesson code 444 is unfolding around your household right now. Now comes the turning. Now comes the part they never expected. You see, the ones who erased your name believed they were writing your ending. But heaven had only just begun your story. They thought their signature held finality. They thought they had the last word. But what they failed to understand, what the enemy always fails to understand, is that when God seals a destiny, no pen forged by man can blot it out. Archangel Michael now announces your rise, not a quiet rise, not a subtle shift, but a divine eruption. You are no longer beneath. You are no longer behind. You are no longer bound by the false agreements of yesterday. You are stepping forward, clothed in glory and covered by divine endorsement. You are not who they thought you were. The version of you they betrayed is gone. The person they counted out has been transformed. You are no longer waiting for validation. You are the validation. You are no longer bidding for recognition. You carry revelation. You no longer explain your worth. You embody it. What was once a wood has become a weapon. What was once confusion has now become clarity. And in this clarity, you walk differently. You speak differently. You command differently. There is an oil on you now that no signature can erase. There is a fire around you that no scheme can smother. There is a divine knowing within you that makes darkness tremble. Hear this. You are the storm they did not prepare for. The silence they mistook for surrender has become the thunder of your return. You walk now with heaven's full backing. Michael has not just drawn his sword, he has cleared your path. The scroll of your destiny, once tampered with, is now corrected. Not only is your name reinstated, it is highlighted. Your anointing is no longer hidden. Your assignment is no longer delayed. What was once used against you is now being rewritten as a platform for your ascension. The rejection birthed resilience. The sabotage provoked supernatural strategy. The theft activated transformation. And now you are untouchable. They can't touch what God has sealed. They can't manipulate what heaven has marked. They can't destroy what the angels are defending. The signature that once attempted to erase you has become the evidence that elevates you. Divine reversal is your portion. Not just restoration, but recompense. Not just being put back where you were, but being catapulted beyond where you would have been. This is what happens when the righteous are tampered with. This is what unfolds when the chosen are crossed. Heaven doesn't just restore, it multiplies. And that multiplication is finding you now. Look around. Look within. Something is changing in your atmosphere. You feel the fire in your bones. You feel the power in your breath. You feel the crown forming on your spirit. This is your divine bloom. You are rising out of the ashes of betrayal with wings of wisdom. You are moving forward not with bitterness, but with brilliance. Your legacy is being awakened. Your name is being remembered. And those who once laughed will now stand in stunned silence, because they will have to watch what they tried to bury rise higher than they ever imagined. This is not revenge. This is vindication. This is not ego. This is elevation. You are not rising to prove them wrong. You are rising because God said it is time. And when God speaks, even silence obeys. Even closed doors reopen. Even crooked signatures unravel. You are not broken. You are born again, spiritually revived and fully aligned. You are a walking prophecy. You are the fulfillment of divine correction. You are the testimony that some mistakes only serve to magnify God's hand. So rise now. Waddle. Reclaim your name. Reclaim your inheritance. Reclaim your divine wealth. Your rise is not coming. It is here. Heaven is announcing it. Michael is guarding it. And nothing, no person, no paper, no plot, can stop it. Type "I am rising into my inheritance" in the comments if you receive this shift. Lesson Code 3030 is breaking old ceilings over your life. Now comes the moment heaven had been orchestrating behind the scenes. The divine shift. The prophetic pivot. The sudden reversal that silences every lie and vindicates every wound. What was meant to be your downfall is becoming your display. What was written to erase you is now the very proof that God's signature is higher, stronger, unbreakable. Archangel Michael stands before the scroll of your life and declares, "The final word belongs to the throne." You see, the one who thought they had sealed your future with a false signature never realized they were setting the stage for something greater, your prophetic unveiling. You are being called forward now. Called into the light. Called into restoration. Called into fulfillment. The chapter they tried to cancel is about to be published in glory. Someone will come forward with the truth. You won't have to beg for it. You won't have to chase it. You won't even have to demand it. The truth has a frequency. The truth carries divine momentum. The truth cannot be silenced by fear, nor buried under shame. It rises. It whispers in dreams. It appears in conversations. And now, as the energy around you changes, as the anointing reclaims the narrative, the truth will surface in unexpected ways. Someone who was once silent is being compelled by the Spirit to speak. Someone who stood on the sidelines is about to step forward. Not because they want to, but because they must. Heaven is placing pressure on hidden hearts, exposing secret agreements, and forcing the hands of those who played a part in your delay. And you, yes, you, will not have to lift a finger, because this is the fulfillment of divine timing. This is the harvest of the season you endured in silence. The very system that tried to block you will become the channel through which your name is elevated. A reversal is occurring, and it's not just spiritual. It will manifest in the physical. Documents will be corrected. Accounts will be restored. Opportunities once held back will rush in like a flood. You are not just being restored, you are being compensated. Every missed moment, every closed door, every unjust delay, it's all being recalculated in your favor. And as heaven moves, so must you. Not in striving, not in fear, but in expectancy. Your posture now must be one of readiness. Let your hands be open. Let your heart be clear. Let your faith be loud. Because divine favor is forming in your atmosphere like morning dew, quiet but undeniable. It's showing up in emails, in divine appointments, in sudden insights, in supernatural timing. Things you thought were forgotten are reappearing. Plans you set aside are now being resurrected. Dreams you mourned are returning, stronger, bigger, more aligned than you ever imagined. You are not behind. You are being caught up in a divine acceleration. This is the final test before elevation. And you have passed. You held your peace. You've guarded your soul. You've listened to the warning. You've followed the light. And now the light is carrying you into rooms that had been shut, carrying you into partnerships that align with your purpose, carrying you into realms of favor that override the signature that tried to erase you. This is not restoration by human hands. This is redemption by heaven's hand. This is not a partial blessing. This is full circle glory. You are the evidence that God doesn't just reclaim, He redefines. The name they removed is now being called again, louder, with honor, with elevation, with divine applause. And those who once erased you will bear witness to your return. Not in arrogance, but in holy alignment. You are not a victim. You are the revelation. You are not the overlooked. You are the overcomer. Stand tall. Walk boldly. Speak softly, but carry the full weight of heaven in your voice. You are moving from erased to exalted, from sabotage to see it, from rejected to restored. Archangel Michael declares, what was signed against you has now become the seal upon you, and that seal cannot be broken. I am walking into my fulfillment in the comments to unlock your blessing. Blessing code 5555 is restoring lost time in your favor. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way, and every gesture is deeply appreciated. Now that the veil has been lifted, now that the truth has been revealed, now that Archangel Michael has announced the reversal, there must be a response. Because revelation without activation is a missed opportunity. This moment, this divine message, this spiritual intervention is not here to merely inspire you. It is here to realign you. The power of this prophecy is not just in what you've heard. It's in what you do next. And heaven is watching how you respond. You must move from knowing to declaring, from hearing to commanding, from hoping to receiving. This is not the time to hesitate. This is the time to activate. You were supposed to be rich, not just in coins, but in clarity. Not just in bank accounts, but in belief. Not just in outward gains, but in inner authority. And though one signature tried to strip all of that from you, your agreement, your divine agreement, has more power than any false document. Heaven is ready to release what was withheld. The scroll has been opened. The ink is dried on the corrected contract. And now the blessing hangs over your life like a cloud full of rain, waiting for one thing, your voice. You must speak it. You must seal it. You must affirm it aloud. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. The word says, you shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. You must decree. You must agree. You must declare it into your atmosphere so that every opposing frequency shatters under the weight of your belief. You are not powerless in this hour. You are positioned. You are not forgotten. You are foretold. And your voice holds the key to unlock the overflow that is hovering above your destiny. The shift you felt is not an illusion. It is real. The angels are already on assignment. But heaven waits for your command. So speak boldly now. Say, I reclaim my inheritance. Say, my name is sealed by God's covenant. Say, no signature can cancel what is mine by divine right. And then take a step forward, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Let your life reflect your belief. Let your decisions align with what heaven is revealing. This is your hour to write again, to build again, to dream again, to invest again. Not because you're trying to make up for lost time, but because lost time is now being restored. The years that were stolen are being recalculated. The moments that were hijacked are returning with interest. But you must move in agreement with the shift. And don't just stop at speech. Share this word. Sow it into your day. Meditate on it until it becomes your mindset. Heaven is opening a portal over you, but it will not stay open forever. This is a time-sensitive activation. Within the next 24 hours, you must affirm your alignment. Write it. Pray it. Type it. Boast it. Let your environment know that a chosen one is rising. Let every dark force know that your voice has returned. Let every lie know that truth now reigns in your territory. You've waited long enough. You've wandered long enough. Now it's time to wake up. The wealth within you. You have heaven's signature. You have angelic protection. You have spiritual authority. You have divine timing. Don't waste this alignment. Don't delay this deliverance. Respond now. Step into the abundance that was paused, not canceled. Step into the truth that was hidden, not destroyed. Step into the favor that was assigned to your name before time even began. Say this out loud. I activate every dormant blessing assigned to me. I cancel every false signature, every false claim, every spiritual hijack against my purpose. I am who God says I am. I am rich in destiny. I am chosen by design. I am sealed in glory. Say it until it feels like fire in your chest. Say it until your feet begin to move. Say it until the heavens echo back, yes and amen. Type yes to my destiny in the comments to seal your agreement with this prophetic word. Blessing code 7777 is awakening every promise tied to your name. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not a casualty of betrayal. You are not the footnote of someone else's story. You are the revelation. You are the fulfillment of a prophecy long written in the records of heaven, before the signature ever touched the page that tried to erase your name. You were supposed to be rich, and now you understand why. Not for vanity, not for status, and not for blood, but for assignment, for kingdom expansion, for legacy beyond bloodlines. Your wealth was always about more than just currency. It was about capacity. And now, capacity is returning to you. Wealth is finding its rightful owner. Restoration has called your name, and this time, no one can cross it out. Archangel Michael has spoken. The heavenly scroll has been re-inked. The flame of divine justice has consumed every false agreement that attempted to rout your divine inheritance. The throne has ruled in your favor. You are not just being brought back to where you once were. You are being launched beyond where you were supposed to be. This isn't restoration alone. It's divine acceleration. This isn't compensation in pieces. It's overflow in abundance. What was once delayed is now being expedited. What was once locked is now swinging open wide. And what was once denied will soon become the very proof that you were chosen all along. Let them whisper. Let them watch. Let them wonder how the one they erased became the one God elevated. Let them revisit the documents they signed in darkness and realize it wasn't enough, because they didn't factor in the one whose word overrides all others. They didn't expect the angels to intervene. They didn't anticipate your resilience. They didn't recognize the anointing hidden in your humility. But now, they will. Now, they will see with their own eyes what happens when heaven steps in. They will see you rise not in revenge but in radiance. Not in noise but in noble silence. Not in arrogance but in authority. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered. Your favor is multiplying in places your feet have not yet touched. Your blessings are moving toward you faster than you ever imagined, because you dared to believe again. Because you chose stillness when you could have chosen vengeance. Because you responded to the warning, obeyed the whisper, and aligned with the voice of divine instruction. And for that, the gates have opened. The scroll has turned. The season has shifted. So walk on now, not with doubt, but with destiny in your step. Let the ashes of what they tried to destroy become the soil where your legacy takes root. Let the very contract they used against you become the courtroom evidence of divine favor fulfilled. You are walking proof that one false signature cannot override heaven's decree. That no one can erase what God engraved. That your story is not over. It is just beginning. And this beginning comes with fire, with force, and with full angelic reinforcement. You are no longer waiting. You are activating. You are no longer hoping. You are holding. You are no longer wondering. You are witnessing. And Archangel Michael says this clearly. Let the one who was erased now stand as the sign. Let the one who was overlooked now shine as the oracle. Let the one who was delayed now dance in divine timing. The name they erased is now ringing in light. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not bound. You are the fulfilled word. You are the unstoppable force. You are the light in human form. The warrior cloaked in peace. The silent thunder that shakes systems. The divine seed that cannot die. Rise now, beloved, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. Type I am the fulfilled prophecy in the comments if you are walking boldly in this new season. Blessing code 1010 now surrounds your name, your house, and your legacy. If this word pierced your spirit and you feel led to support this message, consider giving a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue producing more life-changing, spirit-filled content, and your love never goes unnoticed.